Welcome individuals of all creeds and beliefs. Today is Wednesday. It's the reset day in EU as well. And as such, I have to go and collect my free loot from the Great Vault and the Creation Catalyst as well. But before that, we have to talk about what has happened in the last couple of days in terms of changes, because there have been massive ones for the raid, because three bosses in particular, Halondrus, Jailer, and Anduin himself have all been, I would say, significantly nerfed, with the prize of the most nerfed boss, perhaps ever. Perhaps the harshest nerf we have seen, at the very least in modern times, going to Halondrus. Halondrus getting severely battered by the nerfs. So, going over the nerfs right now. There are a few nerfs that you would expect when you see a boss being nerfed, like for example the Earth Shatter missile damage being reduced by 20%. That's like, okay, you see these type of nerfs quite often in mythic raiding. And then you see things like Halondrus health reduced by 10%. Yes, that's another thing you normally see. And then you see the reduced damage from the Eternity Engine by 10%. Okay, I mean, up to this point these nerfs are okay, I guess. Where it gets kind of a massive is the change to the volatile charges. In case you don't know, by the way, Mythic Halondrus has this mechanic. You probably have seen this in the world first race. It was quite amusing to see such a hard boss. It has a mechanic where players have to essentially juggle bombs throughout the entire encounter. They have to carry the bombs to each of the three different platforms where you fight Halondrus, and the players only have 10 seconds. They have a 10-second duration where they can keep the bomb on themselves. Then it's gonna blow up. So you have to constantly juggle these bombs amongst basically different groups of players and coordinate them to not make the bombs explode. Now, this timer that was 10 seconds has been increased to 30 seconds. And furthermore, the debuff, which meant if you just picked up a bomb, you can't pick it up again for 16 seconds. Now, as a result, that debuff has been increased to 32 seconds. So you still can't double pick it up as a player. You still have to juggle it to someone else, but now you have a 30-second window where you can hold that bomb. It's no longer 10 seconds. This is the biggest of the changes to Halondrus. This makes it much easier to coordinate the movements of your bomb. It also makes it easier to do damage to quite a few specs, quite a few stationary specs or specs with burst windows that want to stay still and keep doing their thing rather than having to worry about bombs. So it's a massive change for Halondrus. It's gonna make it easier in multiple different ways. I'm not gonna go too much into detail about it, but the amount of reclaims he's gonna cast is gonna go down to near zero. The last phase is gonna last some ridiculous, like 50 seconds at best now, so it's definitely gotten easier. I've seen some different opinions about this nerf. There are some people that are somewhat disappointed that they were spending 100 wipes, 150 wipes on Halondrus. They finally got it to the last phase. They were very close to killing the boss, and now the boss has been basically ruined for them. Let's just say that the achievement, so to speak, not the literal achievement in the game, but the moral achievement of being able to kill Halondrus when it was still hard, has gone away now for some people, which might not feel as good. That's the main complaint I've seen. You can also see the complaint on the different side, which is all the guilds who just had to waste, so to speak, 200 wipes, 250 wipes on Halondrus, now are going to get caught up by other guilds that didn't kill Halondrus much faster, because now those guilds will take much less to progress through Halondrus. So they will be able to gap the distance they had from guilds that already killed Halondrus faster. That's the main complaint I've seen talking about Halondrus. Then you have two other bosses that have been nerfed. They have not been nerfed as hard and as harsh as Halondrus, but they are still been quite weakened. So, hold on a second, I have to get my meat. 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, tons of meat. The nerfs to Anduin. So, number 1, Anduin's Despair and Anduin's Doubt. I'm talking about the ads here, have their health reduced by 15% HP. Okay. Befouled Barrier, the one that you need to heal to break, is going to require 10% less healing in heroic and mythic difficulty. The Fiendish Souls Explosions, the travel speed basically, is going to have a 20% speed reduction in heroic and mythic. The Monstrous Soul, very important to take down before it blows up, has gotten its HP reduced by 6% in mythic. Lost Soul's Banished Soul cast time has been increased to 12 seconds. This was the one where you had to cycle cooldowns to make sure they never ended up casting it fully. If they casted it fully, the players that were in the down realm would die. So you had to cycle cooldowns. Now the cooldown is much more easy to cycle because the cast time is much longer now. And lastly, Grim Reflections, Grim Fate. The haste bonus they gain is 200% instead of 250%. This is not as major. So quite a few of these nerfs are still relevant. The strongest ones, I mean the more important ones, of course, being the healing barrier being reduced by 10%, as well as the Anduin mobs, the Anduin ads having 15% less HP, is gonna make the Kingsmorn phases, the down phases, much more manageable. So also decent nerfs to Anduin. Lastly, we also have the nerfs to the Jailer. Now, Jailer has gotten melee attack speed reduced by 10% in mythic difficulty, the health reduced by 5% in mythic difficulty. Martyrdom damage has been reduced by 15% again in mythic difficulty. Torment damage is reduced by 10%, and the Boon of Azeroth buff that you get is being increased by 20% in mythic difficulty. So it is I would say the least major of the nerfs being given to a boss compared to the other two. Anduin and Halondrus are more massive, even if we count, how many guilds are currently basically stuck on Halondrus. It's definitely more significant of a nerf, of a set of nerf for those two bosses. So now that we have gone through the nerfs, there is another news before going into my loot of the week. The other news is that Kalecgos, the current leader of the Blue Dragonflight, the Magic Dragonflight, who overtook Malygos, ever since Malygos got mad because Deathwing was very mean to his Dragonflight. Kalecgos has gotten a new model. Of course, it's a new expansion. It's based around dragons. You better shape up, give a lift to many of the Dragonflights. It's going to be interesting to see how many of the Dragonflight's leaders, basically, are going to get some sort of makeover. Pretty sure Ysera is probably not gonna be in it because she's supposed to be left behind in the Shadowlands. I'm pretty sure Alexstrasza is getting a lift, a makeover, especially covering her up. Now we know that Kalecgos is getting a lift. Interestingly enough, they are giving Kalecgos pointy ears. Previously his model was supposed to be human. Now his model is elf. But still, who cares? They are dragons. I guess they can take whatever shape they want anyways, so fine. That being said, it's time for my loot. So the situation has gotten much better eventually. Yeah, it took like 2 months, but we got there. I have a mythic helmet, I have a mythic chest, I have a mythic pair of gloves, I have a mythic pair of pants, and I have a upgraded heroic mythic upgraded heroic pair of shoulders. So technically speaking, I am at the point where I don't really need tier set from the vault anymore. I much rather like some high 278 pieces to change some of my old ones, like this one. Good old Sanctum bracers with socket, currently unbeatable. Maybe no, fuck the cloak. No, sorry. I got the cloak every single time. I don't want to jinx it and get a cloak again, please. I was thinking about something like a better belt, a better necklace, perhaps one of the trinkets for maybe Mythic Plus. My loot spec is Resto. Okay. Once again, I'm going to call the help of my friend Paint, so I'll see you in a bit. And we got it. We got our paint block, so we can go on and open. Once again, I decided not to get the heroic bosses from the raid because I don't want to get an option from heroic, since I don't need anything from heroic, so this is gone and not explored. Only mythic is what I care about, so let's go over the first piece of gear offered from mythic, which is a pair of gloves that I don't really need since I already have the tier set, and lastly a terrible ring. So once again, the raid has not been kind to me. I mostly gotten my stuff from Mythic Plus, actually. The raid has been quite disappointing. Meanwhile, Mythic Plus has to come to bail me out. We will talk about this later. Let's keep going. Well, I guess this is the... Oh, no. Why do you give me this debate? Shit. Fuck. So here's the thing. The Unbound Changeling is likely one of the strongest trinkets in the game for many specs. Not just me, but many specs. So this shield gives me the bonus of having crit and verse, which are my best in slot stats. I don't change item level whatsoever. As a matter of fact, the only thing I change is like a dozen stats secondary, so it's not that great. Shoulders would give me the ability to use my creation catalyst to get 278 shoulders, although the item level increase and the stat increase would be extremely small, also because the stats on these shoulders are the worst for my spec, so this is also terrible. Meanwhile, this one is a very powerful trinket, so I already have powerful trinkets. I already have the Resonant Reservoir from Mythic Plus, which is tons of damage. I have the Solias at 272, so they are good. As a backup plan, I have the Elegy of the Eternals as well for stats in the raid. However, the Changeling is very good. Generally speaking, it's a very wanted trinket, so I don't really want to pass on it, you know. Yeah, okay, fine. I have to take the Changeling. It's too strong. Thank you very much, you. Okay, we will think about the rest later on. Well, I guess my plan for catalyst upgrading is now ruined because I don't have much. So my valor. Okay, this week with 750 more, I have 1,650 valor. Okay, this is the amount of stuff I can upgrade. There isn't really any 278 item I can upgrade anyways, so I don't think I'm gonna use my creation catalyst for anything other than perhaps... Hold on. No, never mind. Other than perhaps the belt. Because the belt has absolutely garbage stats, I might literally just convert the belt with the creation catalyst just to get it to have different stats. That's the only possibility at the moment. Of course, doesn't matter. I will have to wait our raid re-clear tonight just to see which mythic item I can snatch up for transformation on the creation catalyst. But for now this was all. A particular set of nerfs was the main argument of discussion for today. Significant nerfs to the raid. That's mostly what was up to discuss. So beyond this, I guess I'm gonna leave you to the early reset hours of this new week. So thank you guys for watching the video and for helping to support the channel in any way you can, which includes liking and commenting on the video down below, as well as subscribing to the channel. I am also found by some people on Twitter over here, and you can also support me even more on Patreon. If you really have nothing else to do, I would be grateful. Thank you guys again. See you guys soon, and in the meantime, now I have to start tinkering with sims and numbers to see how good the Changeling can be. Still, it's a world first problem to have very powerful trinkets anyways.